Folks, welcome back to Three's In again. I'm kind of in a chatty mood today, it happens. Anyway, I'm going to tell you another story of Harry, my dear friend and mentor. So, Harry would go out early in the morning and begin working in his shop. Who knows what he was going to do? He always had something going on out there. And then he would knock off about 3:30, come in the house and get cleaned up. And then he'd sit around with his wife, Gwyneth, and he'd read the newspaper. So it was one afternoon, Harry's sitting there reading the newspaper, and the back door, they hear a knock at the back door. And he gets up with the paper, he kind of folds it up there, walks over to the back door, and he sees his neighbor, Mabel. "Can I help you, Mabel?" he says. And she looks up at him. She says, "Your bees are drinking my dog's water, and I don't appreciate it." Now, like I was when Harry first told me the story, Harry stands there and looks at her, not knowing quite what to think. I mean, what would you say? So Harry looks at her and she continues on, she says, "Those bees have been drinking that water, and I really don't appreciate it." So Harry says to her, "Well, Mabel," he says, "I don't doubt you, but it's kind of hard to believe." He says, "I was just out there talking to those bees the other night, and I told them they need to be respectful of their neighbors." He says, "But I can't appreciate how you feel." Well, about this time, Gwyneth gets up and she walks over. Now, Harry was about 6'1", 6'2", maybe, and Gwyneth was just a tiny little thing, maybe 5'2", something like that. Anyway, she comes over, she wedges her way in between Harry and the neighbor because she knows Harry doesn't have a lot of patience for things like this. And she just kind of elbows him aside, and Harry walks off, and she starts to soothe things over. Well, Harry sets the newspaper down. He goes downstairs in the basement, gets a gallon jug, and comes up and fills it full of water. When he gets it filled full of water, he walks back over to the conversation going on. He says, "Mabel," he says, "I am really sorry for those bees drinking your dog's water." He says, "When they get in tonight from all their duties," he says, "I'm going to have their little asses." He says, "You can best bet I'm going to have a serious conversation with them." And he says, "In the meantime," he says, "please take this gallon of water as a token of my deep and sincere apologies." Well, she actually takes the damn water. And I think that's what Harry wanted to do, to see if he could get her to carry a jug of water a couple houses down, and which she did. Anyway, she takes off with this gallon jug of water. Gwyneth turns and looks at Harry. She says, "Don't you ever do that to me again." And Harry and I just laughed about that. I mean, I've never heard of something so stupid. Your bees are drinking my dog's water. You just never knew what you were going to hear when you went over to Harry's. God love him.